Okay, this video is huge. Now, I'm making it about sexual abuse and priest and telling that to your family, but this can apply to incest. It can apply to a husband rape, a wife rape, um, illnesses that you have. It can cover the same philosophy for any part of you that is vulnerable and broken and sensitive to being used against you inside your own family. So, for example, if you are raped by a priest or there's incest and you go to tell in your family, if your family is toxic and you have a toxic mother or father, the right thing for them to do is take you in their arms. I don't care if you're 15, 20, 30, 40, 60. If you're a mom, hug, apologize, hold them, tell them, I'm sorry, what do you need? Those are your jobs as a human being and a mother. There's not even a wiggle room, okay? When you have a toxic family, let's just say you're raped by the priest and your mother wanted you to be a priest and they're all wrapped up in the church and they're all part of the town, and then this happened and you go tell. They're not going to react right because sociopaths, narcissists, toxic mothers, which are all the same word, will end up worrying about what the neighbors say, their reputation, will have to leave the church. How will we explain it? I don't want to move. This is inconvenient for me. Yada, yada, yada. And you're sitting there as the victim going, is this really happening? I can't get the support, the coddling, the love that I need after this, and you're not going to back me? And then you're triply re-injured in this scenario because you have now told, you have gotten the wrong answer, you feel re-abandoned and more abandoned and broken and humiliated, and then you're not protected by the nest that you thought you had. And it's inexcusable. And the problem with it, though, is that it happens for all of the scenarios. I know a girl who was incested in her family and told her mother, and her mother smacked her, locked her in a closet, and told her if she ever said that again, she would put her in a foster home. And the little child is telling me this years later. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? But the mother was hiding her own incest secrets that brought the memory back, that her incest that she couldn't handle when she told, and when it happened to her, was never resolved, and no one ever protected her. And so instead of saving her daughter from it, protecting her daughter from it, going after the perpetrator, she ended up choosing to not want to relive what her own parents didn't fix and what she went through, and she then violated and abused her daughter. Her daughter ended up having alcohol problems and drug problems and going through all kinds of things, and if I didn't meet her, she might not be here. I had to sit her down and say to her, oh my God, okay, time out. And I'm going to bawl because this happens, it was years ago, but it was like it was yesterday. I didn't even know what to do. Like, that's when you want to go take that mother and shake her, just ask her what the frig is the matter with you. The reality is, it's typical. And I'm much older now so that I see how typical it is, and it kills me. Is it wrong? Yeah, it's insane. So, to prevent the victimization of you as a victim, you have to make a decision on your family system. And I don't encourage every victim to actually go look for something they cannot have, which is the right thing that they should be able to have from their mother. Because if they're not going to get that, I would love to protect them all from re-injury. And even though they need help and you need an outlet and you need to talk about it and heal yourself, if it's not there, don't go. And if you have gone and now they use it against you, and it's a weakening point to make you feel defective over, because they'll always, a broken system is always using whatever's the weapon in the house, whether it's that you're lazy and you don't want to get up, whether it's that you don't like to clean, your husband left you, you got fired from a job, and every situation in between. Those incidents are called weapons of war in a family system that's broken. So that when they feel down and broken, they use whatever they have against you in order to keep you from ever feeling higher than they do. And when they only want you when you're broken and not successful, that's because they love to feel worthy when you're in the dumps. But then if you get yourself back together and they think they're losing that job and that responsibility, what they do too is they start pulling back from you because they're afraid to lose you. There are parents that only want broken children failing, and then all of a sudden they have another job. And so when you're broken, the other thing, instead of like almost blackmailing you with it, is that they condition you that you're not going to ever get over it, so that you stay under their wing. And all of these are, they're so on overload for me. Again, I don't know what to do and how to process it, because it's 1,000% wrong. Is it happening? It is. Is it all the time? It's a lot of the time. So you have to know that before you enter into telling, to think about your family system and think about different situations. If they haven't been there for you for those, they are not going to be there for you for this. Number one. Number two, if you have the kind of parents that want to keep you and not let you leave, and you come to them with this, that's just leverage for them to keep you like broken for another decade so that you just don't ever leave. And that's insane. So those are the two different scopes. And there's also people that play both sides in between. And then there's a middle of stuff that it's just endless what they do. There's people that would like bring it up when there's other people around and then force you to feel it again and talk about it. There's people that will, try to make you do something about it, like write a book, tell a story, go to Oprah, go to Dr. Phil. These aren't things people want to put out there. This is why I have it so privately for your healing. The good news is, to protect yourself, that is number one what I'm trying to do. But the harder thing is, you have to do all the self-healing yourself. And you have to take time and you have to tell yourself my messages, because no one else will be saying to you, you don't own this. They do. You were victimized. They took advantage of you. They took advantage of you not because you're worthless, but because you're so worthy, and they were jealous and they were looking at all your qualities and saying, I can't be that, so I'm taking that. And someone can only take something if you let them. So if temporarily they took it, take it back and own it back so that you don't end up like that girl. Because drugs and alcohol and wanting to kill yourself are the lowest of low answers. And they then deny you to rise and become what you are, which was exactly what you were before that happened. Someone can, with what happened to me, and I was blackmailed and lied about and tricked and falsely charged, and I can't even tell you the trail of people that tried to break me. I never let it in. And I just kept saying, it will show how insane you are, and just keep going. And I know I'm strong, and I'm stronger than a lot of people, but you are strong even if you feel worthless and broken. Because I have felt worthless and broken and just said, show me somehow that there's still a purpose for me after this. And I got shown because I believed in myself and someone else believed in me. So I am the one that believes in all of you and wants to say to you, be careful. And if you have told, and if people are doing any of the scenarios of which I told you, the first thing to do is to start to confront them in gentle ways and just say, I'm over that. Why aren't you? I don't want to discuss that. Why do you? And you are going to push it back on them. So that, or like, did anything happen to you that was like that you don't want thrown in your face? And how was your childhood? And so when you just take those gentle ways of pushing it away from you, you are telling yourself how to rise. Because if anybody's using anything or keeping you broken or saying you can't this or you can't get a job because you had a mental breakdown and blah, 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 you need to start to say to them gently. Don't even do it with anger, because everything that I got back at people, I did it without anger, and it made them matter. It made them matter that I was okay and they weren't taking from me what they hate that I have. But that's what happened to you. So stay in you and don't let your family kill you either. And you let you live and make them own it. And when I learned finally to stand up to my dad, who kept harping on my divorce and, making fun of my ex and saying we knew you never should have married him. And of course, any boyfriend I had for my entire life wasn't material, but they had to keep harping on it. And, I finally confronted him and said, Dad, okay, that was, 13 years ago. And you know what? Are you ever gonna stop? And he's like, stop what? And I'm like, stop harping on it. I'm not with him. He's gone. Did you ever make a mistake yourself? Did you ever do anything wrong when someone had said to you, don't do it, and you did it, and you tried it in your heart because that's what you thought? And he finally went, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so get past this. And that's what you have to do for yourself. And make people push it away from you, because perpetrators, in whatever form they come, including a toxic mother, sister, brother, sibling, uncle, aunt, dad, everybody, they push onto you so they don't have to feel themselves. And when you start claiming yourself again and making them back off, they have to then look at who they are and what they're doing. And as you do that little push, and then another little one, and another little one, you are doing this. And all of a sudden you come into, I'm going to do something different today. And what I want to make sure as a victim that you don't do is miss every day of your life in depression. You're allowed to be depressed. You're allowed to have days where you just want to pull the covers up and don't want to see the world because the pain is too much. And so stay in bed, and that's that. But on the rest of the days, go see beautiful things and put good where bad is, and fill your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Even go to a different church. Even if you move, leave, whatever. Whenever you do something victorious that makes you feel better, you are doing the right thing. And even if you have to move away from your natural family and go join another church or go do something else or separate from them or back away because they still want to talk about it because it's your weak point, you will feel so much better when you just don't live there. I don't let them do that anymore. And the rest of my family doesn't do it. It would have been my toxic dad. But, that's the generations of how it went. And he never expected me to get to a place where I would say to him, Dad, stop. But I did. And so that's when you claim who you are, and that's when you can survive elsewhere. And be super careful. You don't even have to tell a spouse. Like, if this happened to you in the church and you're going to get married one day, it is not essential that you tell your wife what happened. Because if there's ever a divorce and if that ever breaks, you never want to get rebroken in that scenario, in a divorce or anything else, because someone has that secret. And so I do not believe in a marriage that you must tell these types of things to anybody. Because the old-fashioned days where you married for the whole life with somebody, this would not have occurred. They They didn't know how to use it against you, and they wouldn't dare because they were your soulmate and they were like that. In today's marriages, it's leverage. So I don't believe anymore that being that vulnerable, and maybe someone else has no secrets, but you have that one, it's going to be like this the whole time. And you never want someone in a fight to say, oh, no wonder they picked you, or any of those mean, cruel verbal abuse things that people spew out. You need to protect you. And if you just keep it with yourself, it's not a secret. It's a resolved incident that you have overcome. And if you look at it like that and you tell yourself you're fine, you don't need to tell anyone else. It's you that needs to make you okay. And you don't need approval, you don't need empathy, you don't need anybody else. When you make yourself whole, you are enough. And you don't have to share it if you don't want to. And moving forward, if you have shared it, stop sharing it in the future. Because to recover, you need two things to heal. You need yourself to tell yourself you're okay. You need to tell yourself it wasn't your fault. And lastly, you need to walk as high as everyone else is and consider yourself equal. And that's all you need. The fantasy is that you would enter some place where everybody would empathize. But we are in a world where everyone's a sociopath and they're all selfish and they're all worried about what happened to me, what happened to me. So when that happens, you are not going to find that empathy no matter how hard you try. And stop looking for it. And when you stop looking for it, you feel better and you heal. And you are enough to heal you all by yourself. Thank you.